Welcome to the Gym Success Podcast. We're really thrilled to have all of you, our listeners, joining us today. Whether you're a gym owner, maybe an operator, a manager, salesperson, gym entrepreneur, or a dedicated personal trainer. I'm Bonnie.
And I'm George.
Today, we're going to be taking you through a really important document. It's the White Paper by jthomas. It's titled, When to Sell Your Gym Business Before It's Too Late.
Yeah, and our goal today is really to provide you with some actionable insights, things you can actually use.
Exactly. Insights you can apply, directly to your business, maybe starting right now.
The emotional and financial reality of gym ownership.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Jthomas, he kicks things off with the truth that I think hits close to home for so many of you listening. Owning a gym, it isn't just about the finances, the balance sheet. It's deeply emotional.
Oh, absolutely. You pour everything into it, don't you? Your time, your passion.
Your whole vision, yeah. You're building this place where people genuinely change their lives. It feels like more than just a business.
It often is. It becomes a legacy project for many. But what's fascinating here, and kind of the core point he makes early on, is how that very emotional attachment, which is, look, it's a strength for building community, right? For increasing loyalty.
Definitely.
It can actually become a huge blind spot, a real weakness when it comes to the hard business side of things. Thomas lays out this harsh reality that a lot of gym owners face. They just wait too long.
Too long to think about selling.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They see the early warning signs, those little shifts in the market or maybe in their own numbers, but they rationalize them away. They let that emotional connection override what should be solid business instincts.
That it's my baby, I can fix it thing.
Precisely. Even when the data might be, screaming something else entirely.
So, okay, what does this actually mean for you, our listener, in practical terms? Jthomas points out that by the time many owners finally decide, okay, maybe it's time to sell, their gym is often already, declining.
Yeah, you're talking about revenue dropping noticeably.
Yeah.
Member churn might be creeping up.
Meaning more people leaving than joining.
Right. And often you can feel it in the staff morale, too. It dips. And the business, at that point, it might only be worth a fraction of what it could have been.
Or worst case, maybe nothing at all.
It happens. He points out that selling too late isn't just a small mistake. It's one of the most common and most costly errors in the fitness industry. Getting the timing right, he argues, needs a really cold, hard look at the data. Objective thinking.
Encourage, maybe.
And yeah, definitely the courage to actually act before sentiment just completely takes over.
The danger of emotional attachment, delaying tough decisions.
And building right on that point, the paper really dives into how a gym becomes so intertwined with an owner's identity. You've built these relationships, you've maybe mentored staff, you've become this figure in the community.
Often a really well-liked figure.
Exactly. These aren't just business contacts, but personal bonds,
Right.
deep ones. But, and this is the tough part, Jthomas highlights these same emotional ties, strong as they are, they can seriously cloud judgment.
And that leads to financial risk.
Significant financial risk, potentially. It's a hard thing to accept, but really necessary.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for me, because he actually outlines specific danger signs. Signs of this emotional bias creeping in. Maybe think about this for your own business listening right now. Are you perhaps ignoring some declining metrics, like maybe lower renewals or your lead flow is slowing down, but you keep telling yourself, oh, it'll bounce back next quarter?
That's a classic one. Hope over data.
Or here's another trap he mentions. Are you finding yourself putting personal money into the business, year after year, just to cover losses instead of tackling the root problems?
Yeah, propping it up instead of fixing it.
And maybe the big one. Are you just refusing to even explore an exit strategy because the idea itself feels like giving up, like failing?
These are tough questions. Really tough, but crucial. And it raises that important question. What's the real cost of holding on too long because of emotion? The reality check, as Thomas frames it, is that your main job as an owner, it isn't just being a great coach or community leader. Fundamentally, it's about protecting your investment and, by extension, your own financial future.
Right. That's the bottom line.
And sometimes protecting that means recognizing it's time to pass the torch. Let someone else bring in new energy or capital or maybe a fresh perspective. The longer you hold on just for sentimental reasons, the higher the risk of eroding your equity.
Turning an asset into a liability.
Exactly. It's like a strategic retreat sometimes to ensure you can win later.
Before the decline deepens.
Yeah, and the paper makes it super clear. When gyms start to struggle, it's hardly ever a sudden crash, like, boom, overnight disaster.
No, rarely. It's usually much more gradual, an insidious slide, he calls it.
You might notice maybe fewer new members converting from leads.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe cancellations start ticking up just a little bit each month.
Then profit margins start to shrink, slowly at first.
It's like that leaky faucet idea, right? A drip here, a drip there.
Until suddenly, yeah, you've got a flood on your hands. So if we connect that to the bigger picture, then acting early is paramount, absolutely critical. Jim Thomas really emphasizes that a gym that's still growing, or at least stable and performing consistently, it's just exponentially easier to sell than one that's clearly in trouble.
And it gets a better price, right? A higher multiple.
Oh, significantly higher. Buyers are looking for healthy businesses, ones that look like they have a future, not ones needing a massive turnaround effort.
They want potential.
Exactly. Delaying just makes any potential recovery harder, and it dramatically weakens your hand when you do decide to negotiate a sale.
Okay, so for you listening, what are those critical red flags Jim Thomas says you need to act on right away before that slide gets too steep?
Well, he lists a few key things to watch. One is rising member acquisition costs month after month.
So it's costing more to get each new member in the door.
Right. Are your marketing dollars working as hard? Another big one.
Mhm.
Is your retention falling below industry norms? He mentions, anything consistently under 75% year over year should be a huge red flag.
Okay, 75%. That's a number to watch.
Definitely. Then, are you seeing consistent negative cash flow? Not just a slow month, but multiple months where more money is going out than coming in.
That's a serious sign.
Very. And finally, a more subtle one, but really telling, staff disengagement. Is turnover high? Does the team seem less enthusiastic? That often precedes bigger problems.
So any one of those, or maybe a combination.
Should trigger an immediate, deep look at what's really going on in your operations. No waiting.
Leveraging real-time metrics to anticipate problems.
Yeah, and here's a really crucial insight from Thomas. Relying only on traditional financial statements, your monthly P&L, your balance sheet, they're often lagging indicators. They tell you what already happened.
Right. By the time they clearly show a problem, maybe significant damage is done.
Exactly. They show you where you were, not necessarily where you are right now, or, more importantly, where you're heading.
Like driving by, looking in the rearview mirror.
Perfect analogy. So this is where being truly proactive comes in for your business. He strongly recommends shifting your focus. Monitor real-time operational data. Weekly, maybe even daily in some key areas.
Okay, like what kind of operational data?
Well, are your new inquiries and walk-ins, your lead flow slowing down week over week? That's your pipeline drying up.
That's an early warning.
A very early one. Is your sales process slipping? Look at your lead-to-member conversion rate. Is it declining?
So you're getting leads, but not closing them as effectively.
Precisely. What about attendance patterns? Are member visits dropping off, especially among your regulars? That often signals future cancellations.
Because people don't cancel memberships they actually use.
Generally, no.
Okay.
And critically, cash on hand. Do you have enough liquid cash to cover, say, at least 90 days of expenses without any new revenue coming in?
Your operational runway.
That's exactly what it is. And what's really powerful about adopting this kind of real-time monitoring, it buys you time, precious time.
Time to do what? Fix things or?
Either this data gives you the chance to either course correct, fix the underlying issues before they become, catastrophic or public, or if maybe a turnaround isn't realistic or maybe not what you want, it lets you start a sale process while your business value is still pretty solid.
Instead of waiting until it's a desperate fire sale situation.
Exactly. It's about making informed strategic choices, not panicked, reactive ones.
The advantages of selling early to preserve value.
So Jim Thomas makes this argument, which might sound counterintuitive at first. He says the absolute best time to sell your gym isn't when you've hit a wall, you're exhausted or struggling.
Right.
Instead, the sweet spot is actually when your gym's performance is steady, it's strong, maybe even trending upwards.
When it's actually a really desirable asset.
Yeah. So why is that? Why sell when things are seemingly good?
Well, the paper lays out several really powerful reasons for this. First, and most obviously, you'll get a much higher valuation. Buyers pay a premium for potential and momentum, not just history. A growing gym looks like a safe bet with upside.
Okay, higher price. That makes sense.
Second, you're in a much stronger negotiating position. You're not desperate. You can take your time.
You can choose the right buyer, someone who fits.
Exactly. Someone who aligns with your values, maybe protects your staff, and you can dictate more favorable terms because you have leverage. You can walk away.
And what about the transition for staff and members?
That's the third point. The transition is just so much smoother, way less disruptive when the change happens from a position of strength, not crisis. There's less fear, less uncertainty all around. It feels more like a positive evolution.
He actually includes a case study comparison that really highlights this, doesn't
He
he?
does, and it's pretty stark. Gym A, he calls it, sold proactively. It was at 95% capacity, steady revenue.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And that deal closed fast 60 days and at a premium price.
Yeah.
The owners maximized their return.
Okay. And Jim B.
Jim B waited. Membership had dropped by 40%. Debt was piling up. The brand reputation was taking hits.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. The result, despite being on the market for months, they got 0 viable offers. 0. Left the owners with almost no good options.
Wow. That's a really clear lesson, isn't it, for everyone listening? Timing is everything.
It really drives home the financial difference proactive selling can make.
The consequences of waiting too long, closing all exit options.
And that leads to probably the starkest warning in the whole paper from jthomas. It's this. At a certain point, a gym can simply become unsellable.
Unsellable, like literally no one will buy it.
It reaches a threshold where no reasonable buyer, no matter how optimistic, sees enough value or a clear enough path back to profit to justify taking it on. It's the absolute nightmare scenario for an owner.
Okay, so thinking about your own gym.
Yeah.
What actually makes a business unsellable in a buyer's eyes? He lists some factors, right?
He does. Several critical ones. First, is it consistently unprofitable with no clear documented turnaround plan? Buyers don't want to just inherit your problems without a credible roadmap for fixing them.
Makes sense. What else?
Outdated equipment. If it needs a huge capital injection just to get up to par, that's a massive deterrent.
A big check someone else has to write immediately.
Exactly. Then there's the facility lease. Is it unfavorable, high rent? Or worse, is it nearing expiration? That forces a buyer into tough negotiations or maybe even having to relocate. Huge uncertainty.
Okay, lease is key.
Very key. And maybe the hardest one to fix? A damaged brand reputation in the community. Poor service history, high staff turnover people talk about, bad online reviews. That kind of damage can be almost impossible to undo.
Reputation is fragile.
Extremely. So in these really dire cases, when a gym is effectively unsellable,
Right.
what's left, often the only option is forced liquidation. Selling off equipment piece by piece, breaking the lease.
Recouping pennies on the dollar, if that.
Pretty much. It's a painful, value-destroying end. And it just powerfully underscores why you need that foresight, why you need to monitor those metrics, and why you need that courage for timely decisions to avoid having your legacy, your investment, just evaporate.
It's the ultimate price of letting emotion totally override business sense.
It really is.
Practical steps to prepare for a timely sale.
Okay, so knowing all that, understanding the risks and the potential rewards of timing, if keeping a timely sale as a viable option is important to you, what practical steps can you, the gym owner, take right now? How do you prepare your business just in case? jthomas gives a pretty clear checklist here.
Yeah, it's very practical. First, he says, know your numbers inside and out. And that means meticulous, accurate, up-to-date financials and operational data. Keep clean books.
Because buyers will scrutinize everything. Transparency builds trust.
Absolutely. Second, get a professional valuation. Don't just guess what your gym is worth. Understand its true market value from an objective expert. It helps manage your own expectations and sets a realistic price if you do sell.
Good advice. What's next?
Third, document your systems thoroughly. Everything from how you onboard members to equipment maintenance schedules to your marketing processes. Buyers pay a premium for businesses that run on clear, transferable systems. It shows they're buying a well-oiled machine, not just, a room full of equipment.
Right, they're buying predictability.
Exactly. Fourth, work actively to reduce owner dependency. Can the gym operate smoothly, profitably, even when you're not there? If you're the only one who knows how the software works, or if all the sales scripts are just in your head, that's a red flag for buyers. Build a strong team. Empower them.
Make yourself replaceable in a good way.
In a very good way. Fifth, maintain your facility's appeal. Keep the equipment top-notch. Make sure the decor is fresh and inviting, and be obsessive about cleanliness. First impressions count for a huge amount in this business.
They really do. And there's one more, right? Something about buyers.
Yeah, and this is a big one, often overlooked. Build a potential buyer list early. Start networking with industry brokers, maybe potential investors, even other successful gym owners in different areas, long before you actually plan to sell.
So it's not about actively trying to sell right now.
No, not at all. It's about building relationships, understanding who the players are, and just creating options for yourself down the road.
Proactive planning, not reactive scrambling when you suddenly need to sell.
That's the essence of it. Final word and call to action.
Look, selling your gym, it's undeniably one of the biggest decisions you'll make, financially and emotionally. Jim Thomas really advises approaching it just like any other major business choice, with clarity, with solid data, and with real foresight.
Yeah, and if we connect this all back to the bigger picture, the smartest owners, the ones who really maximize their outcome, they're the ones who exit on their own terms, not because they have to, but because they choose to. While the business is still strong, while the brand is respected, while the financials look healthy.
That's how you protect the value you've worked so hard to build.
Exactly. You preserve your legacy, and you set yourself up properly for whatever comes next for you. It's a strategic endgame, not a forced surrender.
So for you, the listener, maybe we can leave you with this thought to chew on. What does your gym's current life cycle really look like if you try to strip away the emotion for a moment? And are you actively tracking the right signals, those real-time indicators, to secure its future and yours? We really hope this deep dive into Jim Thomas's white paper has given you some truly actionable insights and maybe sparked some important thinking.
Absolutely. And remember, if you find yourself needing help with any of this, maybe building better systems, improving your facility, or strategically preparing for a potential sale, you can contact Jim Thomas directly. He's a gym business expert offering strategic guidance and brokerage support.
You can reach him on his phone at 214-629-7223, or you can email him at jthomas@fmconsulting.net.
That number again is 214-629-7223. And the email is jthomas@fmconsulting.net.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Gym Success Podcast today, and we'll talk to you next time.